Hi everyone, Victor is here. Today I would like to draw in my Sakura sketchbook a view from a photo I took in Viscri when I was on vacation in Transylvania last summer. You can download the photo from the link in the description if you want to sketch along. I've wasted a lot of money on pens believing that my drawing would improve with better tools. No tool will teach you to draw, but it is also true that certain tools can motivate you to keep on with drawing practice. This Duke Fude Nib fountain pen fits me like a glove, and I think it will suit you as well if you are into quick gestural ink studies and want a light and balanced pen that is ready to go every time you pull it out. Also, this special nib is capable of creating thin contour lines and large areas of tone like a pencil. The body of this pen and the build quality are surprisingly excellent. This pen has a nice heft and neither looks nor feels like an inexpensive pen. By the way, I spent $20 on it. The metal work in particular is surprisingly nice, with a lot of little details that make this feel like something upscale. The fountain pen is made of stainless steel and a material that might be plastic, but with a nicely polished smooth surface. The main downside with this pen is that the smooth body is a bit slippery to grip. This one of the most slippery pens I've used, and when I'm using it outside I'm more careful with it not to drop it down. The cap is the click-on type, but it doesn't fit on the other end, and pen is a bit short for my hand, so I find it as inconvenience. The Fude nib is basically a nib bent near the tip. It's a specialty nib designed for Asian calligraphy and is capable of thick and thin strokes, depending on how you hold the pen instead of relying on pressure. The Fude tip takes time to get used to, but it is extremely cool once you do. This one of the most useful fountain pens I have tried because of the tip alone. There is a large amount of thickness variation you could do. If you flip the fountain pen to the wrong side, you can get very fine lines. Lightly press on the regular side, you get medium lines. Press hard and you get very thick lines that resemble a brush pen. This pen glides smoothly across the paper, and it's easy to adjust the thickness of the lines. One particular feature that someone might not enjoy is that the pen can get very juicy, and you can get your fingers stained quite heavily if you hold it close to the nib. For those who want to use it for calligraphy, this feature makes it bold. Pressing down a little to make the line size broad makes it easy to color in spaces. Ink comes out easily to make the writing bold. Filling the pen via the included converter is a typical process of screwing a knob. It needs a massive ink capacity since drawing, especially when laying on, consumes far more ink than writing. Many times I left it idle for more days and the ink on the nib dried a little bit, but with a bit of water and plenty of ink it comes back and the ink flows consistently. Now about the Sakura sketchbook, the color of the paper is not white but cream, which makes it less strenuous to the eyes when sketching for longer periods of time. It's a great sketchbook nonetheless. It takes ink and felt pens really well without bleeding. The surface of the paper has the right amount of roughness for regular and colored pencils. Watercolor also works on this paper. Sure, the paper gets a bit wavy, but that's to be expected. The hardcover book comes with a pen holder that perfectly fits pens such as fineliners or roller ball pens. In the back of the sketchbook, an expandable envelope is included for storing sketches and notes. The elastic closure band ensures that the book stays closed and compact when traveling. Also, the pages open completely flat, which allows drawing on both sides of the sketchbook, taking advantage of the whole expandable surface. The subject of today's drawing is a blue house renowned in Viscri because it is owned by the Prince Charles of Wales. Luckily, when we visited Viscri at the end of July, the house was opened to be visited by the public. Prince Charles has declared his love for the Transylvanian countryside and Viscri decades ago. He has since started to invest a lot of time and money to restore and protect the area for preserving the Romanian village heritage. The Viscri village is located in the center of Romania, close to Sighișoara, and it is only one of many Saxon villages in Transylvania. It is considered a special one due to its great fortified church, which is part of UNESCO World Heritage. Still now, Viscri is a small village with no more than 500 inhabitants, of which only about 27 are Saxons. It is said that Viscri hides the most picturesque fortified church of the Saxons from Transylvania. In one of my recent videos I also sketched the Viscri fortified church. If you want to see the sketching demonstration, check it out. The white fortified church, first mentioned in 1400 as Alba Ecclesia. Like most monuments of the time, the church went through different construction phases. The local secular population was the first to build a small church on the site in the early 12th century. Decades later, the German colonists took over control of the land and started a new chapter in its history. During the 13th century, they built the main tower on the west side and enlarged the nave of the church towards the east. Its fortification started later, during the 15th century, and is partially preserved until today. Parts of its fortification elements were demolished after the Ottoman threat disappeared or were used for more peaceful purposes like storage rooms or kindergarten space. I started this sketchbook 2 years ago and I'm still struggling to complete it. I used the first pages to do some color swatches, sketching, drawing tools, writing, in order to loosen up and to overcome the fear of the blank page and the fear of ruining a pristine new sketchbook. I saw sketchbooks at others filled with perfect rendering, standalone completed artworks, their entire sketchbooks being a complete work with no pages, spoiled with doodles, tests, attempts. This comparison with others' sketchbooks makes me wonder if I'm doing it right, namely to complete a sketchbook. Or maybe people have two sets of sketchbooks, one for complete and finished drawings and one for playing around. In contrast, my sketchbooks are a total mess, full of attempts and exploration. I think the main reason for me to keep a sketchbook is to have my sketches organized in a chronological order, thus having a visual journal. When flipping through such sketchbooks, vivid memories are brought back from the dusty past, which is not so remote, as my memory plays tricks on me. It is like looking at old photographs. For a long time, I ignored colored pencils, thinking that they are something for children, but actually I never tried some fancy pencils. You get what you pay, which seems to be true in the case of colored pencils. Pencils of better quality are worth trying, and the satisfaction of drawing with them can motivate you to explore them more. Colored pencils can be very precise. With a well-sharpened lead, some very realistic drawings can be produced. For some aspects, colored pencils might be more suitable for sketching on location, as you don't need additional equipment like brushes, water, but you need a sharpener and a container to dispose of the pencil shaving. Though there are sharpeners that have an inbuilt container, which makes them very convenient to carry around. So having only colored pencils, a sharpener and a sketchbook can be sufficient for drawing on the go, because the colored pencils can be used both as drawing and coloring implements. Life is highly unpredictable. If you have high expectations about something, this might not turn out as you wish. Let's say if you put a lot of effort into something, say learning a new skill, a new language, playing an instrument, drawing, you might not end up getting a professional degree or to have success in that field. If you knew the outcome from the beginning, would you jump in on this journey? If the outcome is not so successful, probably not. To get proficient in something, it might take 10 years of practicing. Now, this is a realistic expectation. So the problem with expectations is that unrealistic expectations are disappointing and discouraging at some point. But the realistic ones are not so motivating, are they? So the solution would be to have fun and enjoy. You know that you might be proficient or not in 10 years, so why stress out, just enjoy the process. Also, if you don't have expectations, you just sit back and watch what happens if you put so-called effort into something. Anyway, it is not so much effort as to dedicate your time and focus for something you find valuable. It is just trading your time for unknown outcomes. And as a bonus, you have fun. As Chinese wisdom says, if you are feeling anxious, you are living in the future. If you are feeling depressed, you are living in the past. If you are feeling happy, then you are living in the present, in the moment of now. I hope you enjoyed this sketching demonstration. Have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.